Can you talk to the different ways that we test our products throughout the product development cycle and then in the different phases of that, along with once we go into production?
Sure. So as part of the design and development phase, we are meeting regularly with the customer to understand, again, intended use of the product, what specifications that we have to meet, and ultimately determining how we're going to test that product in production. So those discussions start very early on. Our preference is to mimic the way that our customers test the product. We want to duplicate that testing in-house. We just want to make sure that there's no measurement discrepancies between the two. So preferred method is a duplicate when possible, how they are testing it. So as part of we move through design and development and that handoff into production, we create what's called a master test device sheet. Those master test device sheets and inspection specification sheets will detail exactly how we're going to inspect a product and test it in production, as well as it tells us at what frequency. At Polo, we utilize various testing methods for testing product in production. We have a dedicated quality staff that does testing in a lab, and we have that staffed in each one of our manufacturing locations. So various testing methods that we utilize, just to name a few, would be tensile testing. So tensile testing, we are cutting a specimen 90 degrees perpendicular to a seal, and we are separating that specimen in the jaws of a tensile tester, and we're looking at how does that specimen separate, right? Does it fully peel apart, which would imply not a good seal, or does the specimen break next to the seal weld, which would imply that the seal is stronger than the virgin material, which implies a good seal. We do pressure decay testing, where we're inflating a product between two compression plates, right? So that inflation is restricted, putting the force to the seal, and we're measuring that drop in pressure. We also do air inflation testing, like water dip method, where we mostly use that for diagnostic testing. But again, we're looking to bubbles form underneath the water, which would imply a leak. We also do air inflation, air burst testing, which is inflating that product unrestricted to the point that it would burst. And what we want to see in that is that the product, the virgin material itself, is what separates versus the seal. And so we utilize different testing methods specific to that product. Other test methods that we may use could include a fitment check. So we manufacture for a lot of different OEMs, and a lot of times that OEM part that they are actually manufacturing, we are making a case or some type of product, a component that supplements that. And so many times we'll take that OEM part and we're using it for a fitment check, right? Does the case fit the part appropriately as it should? Other test methods that we do could include like dimensional analysis. So we're taking dimensions, first articles, and providing that information back to the customer as evidence that we are conforming.
With some of those case tests, I think I've been in part of the PD discussions sometimes where they're talking about like shake tests and different weight on the cases and things like that as well. Is there any other types of testing that we do for that particular type of product?
We do. And again, it all comes down to the product itself, right? What are the customer expectations for how that product is going to be tested? If there's something that we can't do in-house at Polo, we have multiple partnerships with outside labs that we partner with to do, for example, you mentioned like the shake testing and things like that. We absolutely could send those out to one of our partner labs and have that testing completed outside.